if this gets 30 likes, I will mic myself up for the rest of the episodes.
For the rest of the episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's done. 30 likes on the episode?
30 likes, and I'll do it. I'll shake on it right now.
Shake on it. What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Cutting Up Podcast. I'm back, and today we have the GOAT, the man behind the scenes that makes everything happen, Dalton Bradley. How we doing?
Doing good, man.
Doing good?
Doing good.
Excited?
Really happy.
Are you a little nervous to be on the other side of things?
Not so much.
Not so
Not so much. I enjoy being in front of the camera sometimes too.
I feel like you hear from a lot of people that are always behind the scenes like, no, I don't want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You can do both.
I enjoy being in front of the camera. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't make me nervous or scared or anything. I do prefer being behind the camera because I like to nerd out about like the framing and the technicalities of all that kind of stuff.
Do you think it's going to be in the back of your head? Like, I wonder what this shot looks like, or how does this sound? Or
I mean, how it sounds is always in the back of my head.
Always?
Always. Sound gives me the most anxiety of anything. But as far as like the framing, I know exactly what that camera looks like. I know exactly what that camera looks like perfectly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My man, so what do you want to do today? Same as always?
Yeah, same as always. I'm actually
trimmed up a little bit, leave the top a little longer, make sure we have a little bit of curl there, and then clean up the beard as well.
Yes, please. That's a big thing. So I'm actually going home to Texas on Wednesday. Wednesday would be July 26th. My birthday is on Friday, the 28th.
Okay.
Those are the right days. And I know for a fact, if I go home and I look shaggy or my beard isn't in line, whatever, I'm going to get absolutely cooked by my parents. So,
dude, well, I wanted to have you on here because I wanted the people to get to meet you. I've shared a few of your videos from behind the scenes and stuff like that, but I wanted them to get to know you a little bit. I've been begging for you to put a mic on yourself, a live mic during the actual podcast, because I want you to be able to talk more, because we always chop it up with guests before and after. And I'm like, man, this would be great if we had the cameras rolling and you were talking to them too, because you have great insight on this stuff and people like to chat with you. So I wanted the people to get to meet you and hear a little bit about how you got to this point. You went to UT, correct? And you studied. What did you actually major in?
So I majored in, the technical major is cinema studies.
Okay.
Or I guess the official title is interdisciplinary studies, but the major name was cinema studies. What was cool about UT is it's focused like half and half on like production and then what I call cinematic theory. And so, you know, how you properly tell a story, how framing impacts, you know, the final product, all the technical elements and how that works into, you know, creating a good production. So they have a good like balance of that. I would say, just having gone there, they need more courses that get you really hands-on.
Yeah. Now, what is it about this world that intrigued you? What made you want to get into it, and what's your favorite part of it? Is it the editing? Is it the shooting? What is it behind the scenes that caught your attention and made you kind of fall in love with this?
I mean, so whenever I was in middle school, we had like a little project where we had to make a video. And I don't know what it was, but I just went all into it and fell in love with it from that point on. So really, I was like 13 whenever my love for this really started, right? All through high school, made videos, did all that kind of stuff. Obviously came to UT for it. And as far as what I like the most, as far as like shooting, editing, up until probably a couple weeks ago, my answer would have been something along the lines of like, I don't know, you know, I love them both, blah, blah, blah. But
something happened? Something changed?
Dude, recently at work, we've been super busy.
Okay.
And so busy for us looks like a lot of shoot days back to back, and then not a lot of editing days back to back. And so I figured recently, whenever we had one of those weeks where it's just a lot of shooting days, that I prefer to be in the editing room. Obviously, I can do both, and I don't mind, you know, shooting, obviously, but where my talents are best going to be used is absolutely in the editing room.
Wow.
Because that's where I feel like I can get the most creative. That's where I feel like I have the most control over the final product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's got to be the opposite for most people. I feel like that's the thing that deters people away from making content is the editing portion. A lot of people like to shoot it and film it and create it, but then it's the going back behind the scenes and spending hours grinding that really stops a lot of people from being successful in the industry. Am I correct in that?
I would say you're probably correct in that, because it's daunting, dude. Like, you open up, I started my first pro editing software I used was Sony Vegas Pro whenever I was in high school. And there's no, outside of maybe YouTube tutorials, there's no manual, there's no help and how to do it. So just something as simple as dragging in your video clips into the timeline can even be a daunting thing to get started with, right? But
do this for me, for someone watching this that maybe is in the content creating world or wants to be, enjoys that kind of thing. Give us a piece of advice, and it could be something not to do, it could be something to do, but something that you've learned on your journey, whether it's just saving you a ton of time or just giving out a better product. Give some advice to somebody that's a young content creator in the editing room or in the shooting room that you found that has been extremely helpful for you.
So, two things. The first biggest thing that I would say to especially young or new creators is focus more on your microphone than on your camera. Like we were saying earlier in the video, the reason sound gives me so much anxiety is because sound is more important than camera quality. Because anymore, I mean, you can get a beginner grade camera and it's 1080p and you can make it look good, right?
Yeah.
Even with a cheaper lens, you can always make the camera look good or look clean without a lot of effort. Sound, however, takes a lot, and investing in your sound is going to level up your production quality tenfold immediately. No doubt. I always like to say, you would watch a YouTube video that was shot with a potato camera if you could hear what the person was saying just fine. But you will not watch a YouTube video that looks like it was shot on Red Digital Cinema, looks beautiful, but sounds like it was recorded with a toaster oven microphone. Like, you just wouldn't. And
I think that's a good point.
we get so annoyed by sound. So first thing is focus on sound, for sure. No doubt. The other thing when it comes to the editing is your first one's going to suck. Your first 5 edits are going to suck. Your first 10 edits will probably suck. But if you stop after that, if you stop after your first 5 or your first 10 that suck, then you never got to actually grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's been the most fun with it is I started editing video whenever I was 13 years old. Dude, I was nowhere close to where I'm at right now. Granted, I'll be 25 this week, and so I've been doing this a while. But had I not gone through the time of, you know, making just garbage videos whenever I was 13, 14 years old, I wouldn't be at this point now where I can comfortably get a good product for a lot of different styles of edits. From, like, I'll edit this podcast, I'll edit music videos. We do a lot of corporate videos, travel stuff, creative content for Reels, TikTok, YouTube, all kinds of different styles of editing that had I not done the first few that sucked, or the first probably dozen or so that sucked, I wouldn't have gotten here.
Is it tough for you? Obviously, social media content creating has become absolutely insane. There's so many people that do it. It's so competitive. It is oversaturated, and that probably doesn't even completely describe it.
Yeah.
How tough is it for you to sift through that as being someone, like you said, that you notice, like, I could think a video maybe has good audio or decent audio, and it can be terrible, and you would notice that versus me, right? Like, you see the little things in people, the flaws and a lot of their things in the beginning. I know, obviously, I showed you a couple when I had this thought, and I had shot a few on my iPhone and everything with some garbage mics, and you listened and you were nice and said, oh yeah, that looks good, or it's a good idea. But I know deep down you had thoughts of like, that's terrible, that's terrible, that's terrible. So how tough is it for you when there is so much content being pumped out by people all the time? You see, all right, this is a new podcast, or this is a new, series or something, and you watch and you're like, yeah, that's trash. You know, is it tough for you to watch things these days?
Sometimes it is. Yeah. The things that are just really bad, but are trying to appear like they should be on TV, but they're just, trash quality. That bothers me.
And I feel like that's rampant because I feel like there's a lot of people that see this, even if they are, people that have been successful in another, aspect. Maybe they've been on a celebrity of some sort or whatever. And now they're jumping into podcasts because they're seeing that, oh, this is a huge market. This is something that we can do. And they're just halfway doing it. That's got to bother you, right?
It does to an extent. There's more stuff getting produced now than could ever possibly be consumed. And the thing that I think a lot of people need to focus on, especially whenever it comes to podcasts, because that's the trendy thing to do right now, right? In 2016 and 17, it was the vlogs. And then since about 2020, it's the podcast. Mm-hmm. Is have a unique take on it. That's what I think is so great about what we're doing here with you is it's super unique. You're following on, like, each episode is a journey of somebody getting a whole haircut, like a whole makeover, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a nice flow that these fall into that makes it really unique, and it's really true to you, right? A lot of podcasts that just want to be a carbon copy of, say, Joe Rogan or like the Nelk Boys Full Send podcast, right? Where it's just we're sitting at a table with some Shure SM7B or MV7 microphones and just talking about current events of the world. I find most of them really boring. And most of them, it's just, they're the same topics, they're the same thing over and over again. Occasionally you get an interesting guest with a cool story that you really get to learn about and dive deep with. But, for the most part, there's a lot of just Joe Rogan copycats. And we saw the same thing in 2017, 2018 with Casey Neistat copycats, It's whatever's popular right now because it was unique. The masses will at some point oversaturate it.
Well, I trust you as truly the pilot of this whole thing to steer us away from that. And if we ever get to that point, you'll tell me, all right?
Oh, absolutely.
If we ever just start becoming that, you let me know.
Which I think it'll be hard for you to ever get to that point because of the setup of the show.
Yeah.
Like we're not just sitting at a table right now. Most of the time, I think what's weird but cool about this is most of the time on this, your guest and you don't look each other in the eye. Because like right now, you're standing behind me and doing your thing, and you open up the platform to the guest. That's not to say that it's not conversational, but it really is an open platform style, which, like I said earlier, I think is super unique, and I think that's a big reason why it's had the success that it's had.
Dude, I want to talk about your journey and some things that you're pursuing. Like you said, you started doing this, I think, what'd you say, at like 13, 14 or somewhere?
Yeah.
You started doing it, and I remember you telling me, and you showed me some videos of an old vlog that you had done back in the day that you're like, it's off of YouTube or whatever. Like, you got to really search for it to find it.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
They're really hard to find, but they're out there. And, you went away from that path. But then recently we started talking, and I think you decided to start that back up. So tell us a little bit about that and what that is.
Yeah, so a little bit I have started to pick it back up. Whenever I was a senior in high school, I, like many others, were inspired by Casey Neistat, and so I started doing the vlog series. I was one of the ones who had no unique take on the vlog idea and was just trying to copy something that I enjoyed watching. Now, that made me create a video almost every single day for I don't know how many months.
Every day you put out a video?
Every single day. So the routine was you get up, you start recording, you go through the day creating, and then at the end of the night, you offload all the stuff from the SD card and start editing for that to go up the next day. So if I recorded all day Monday, that would go up on Tuesday. Record all day Tuesday, that would go up on Wednesday, so on and so on and so on, right? So I started doing that. I called it The Life of Dalton. And then about the time I moved from Houston out to Knoxville to go to UT, I made a couple of them. It wasn't an everyday thing. Notably, one of my favorite episodes I remember putting together was 2016 in the fall. The Vols were playing the Gators, and we hadn't won that game in I think it was like 15 years or something, or like 12 years or something at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we won that game. And me and my buddy Ryan went to college game day. I actually pulled an all-nighter the night before because we made a sign, and we didn't have a car, so we had to walk to the Walmart on campus and then back to the dorm to like make our poster for college game day.
What did it say?
So it said Swamp Donkey killed Harambe, and we had, because at the time Jim McElwain was coaching at Florida, and we called him the Swamp Donkey. It was also 2016, so the Harambe memes were still kind of relevant.
Oh, that was it right there.
It was a hit. It was a hit at college game day. So stayed up all night the night before the Florida game, and then went to the game. We won. It was a huge party, and that was probably my favorite video to put together once I moved out here.
Nice.
Whenever I was still kind of doing that. Then I go through all of school, graduate, start working, and never really made one again until a couple weeks ago. I picked up my little point and shoot camera, and I created 2 episodes just called The Life of Dalton Grown Up Edition. And it's not to get big, it's just to have fun. And I think that's what made me want to do it again is, whenever you create content for clients for a living, sometimes it's nice to just remind yourself, like, I can still do this because I enjoy it. And that's not to say I don't enjoy like putting this podcast or other client work together, right?
After editing my voice all day and my episodes, you're like, yeah, I gotta hear my own voice. I gotta do something.
Yeah, something, right?
Yep, I feel that, dude.
Sometimes it's just nice to make something that you just wanted to make, not something that you have to make.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that. I mean, honestly, that I can relate to that. I mean, even with this podcast, you know what I mean? That's kind of the thoughts that we have behind it. We're like, yeah, it's a good concept that I think will be a niche and actually could be something that could do really, really well. But also it was like, I already get this opportunity to do this every day and it's fun. You know what I mean? And the opportunity that I get to hear to hang out with my guys and to hear their stories. And now I can just share this on a bigger platform, I think would be a whole lot of fun. And it has been. It's been a blast having these guys in here, turning the cameras on and talking and cutting it up with them. So just
fun intended, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, you know what I mean? It's if you can do something that you genuinely love to do, that you genuinely have fun with, I think that's the best chance of even if you're not doing it to be successful, that's your best shot at being successful. Not just doing something, like you said, that's just copying someone else that that works, but that you don't even enjoy doing. You know what I mean? I feel like you're better off doing something that's, maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, but that you enjoy doing, and you'll be a whole lot more successful,
Yep. Which at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Like, you can create content for a living or direct Hollywood movies, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's still, I feel like it's all still art.
Yeah.
And art should be fun. Like, it should be personal. It should have, meaning and impact to some degree. But more than anything, if you're not enjoying creating, then what's the point of creating?
Yeah.
Like this is one of those things that I feel like you have to love it to really be invested in it. And if you're just doing it for a paycheck, you could go and do anything else that's less like creatively taxing.
Yeah. Definitely, man. So you think you'll keep up with it, or how many?
I mean, I made 2. They were just kind of little here and there kind of things, My girlfriend Morgan and I have been house hunting for a while. It's actually also one of our favorite shows to watch on HBO right now, The House Hunters, because of it. But we've been house hunting for a while. And so I've tried to, whenever we go and do tours and stuff like that, bring the camera and just document it a little bit. And then that way, whenever we get to the point where we found the home and we finally get an offer accepted, because this Knoxville market is no joke, that I can put that whole video together and we can see, where we started and then where we landed. I think that'll be really cool.
That's awesome, man. Tough market these days, ain't it?
Dude, it's rough. It's rough. And we've got a good team. We've got Corey's team working with us.
My man, well, we're wrapping up here. Go ahead and check this out. Make sure it's going to be first off approved by you, and then your parents will let you show up in the house there and hang out with them for a little while.
Yeah, I think it looks good, dude.
That'll work good for you right there.
Yes, sir.
Make it short enough on top, left it where you still had a little bit of curl, but took some off the back there.
I like that. I like a little bit of the my mom calls it the poof.
Yeah,
Right?
Gotta have it.
I like
gotta
that.
Have it. Gotta have it. Clean up kind of your neck there real fast, and then we'll get you out of here, my man.
Cool.
Headed to Arizona, right? Doing some shooting or what?
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to Texas this week for my birthday, end of July, and then one of my clients, the company's called Tread Beauty, and it's a couple that runs a beauty and lash business out of West Knoxville. It's all online order stuff, but Stephanie, the lead CEO, creative, like everything really, right? Is getting an award for, I don't remember what it is, but she's getting an award and doing like a presentation at this big like beauty conference in Phoenix. And so I'm going out and I'm bringing that camera there and a couple lenses and microphones and just covering the whole kind of event for them on their experience.
And you do some behind the scenes, right? We're gonna vlog this trip.
I might. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll probably do some. The hard part about a lot of that is I really do like enjoy to just live in the moment and experience it. And I know that sounds super cliche, but you know, sometimes it's once hard to just.
I mean, almost everyone isn't. So
yeah,
everyone's doing the opposite.
My favorite thing is like concerts. I hate filming at concerts.
Yeah.
And like the people who you just see them with their phone up the whole time at the concert. I'm like, because then you're watching it through your screen. You might as well just be on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd rather watch
this
last weekend. We just had Messi's debut and for Inter Miami soccer. And there was an image of him and we could put it right here. But I saw this image of after he scores, or maybe it was when he was making his debut. I think he was coming in for the first time. And what it was you had all these star celebrities in the background. And you had, I think it was like Serena Williams was back there, Kim Kardashian,
right?
Kim Kardashian, LeBron James, maybe a few other people, and they all have their phones out. And they're like doing, okay, you know, we were documenting his debut, and David Beckham is right there on the front row, and he's just watching. And they had it right next to another picture of when LeBron James scored his, like the basket to become the leading scorer in the NBA, and everybody in the crowd's got their phone out, and then there's one guy sitting on the front row, and I forget who it is right now. He's sitting right there and his phone is not out and he's just enjoying the moment. And they're like, they put those two side by side, like just enjoying the moment in a world where I would have my phone out, but I'd be like, I saw this, I'm documenting this. And them just being able to just put that all outside and like, you know what? Screw the phone, screw everything else. I'm just going to actually see this with my own two eyes. There's something about that, man. There's something about enjoying the moment that we as a society have lost. And I include myself in that because I take my phone out all the time. But there is something that is enjoyable about just having fun and not having to document every little thing. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's more of a personal appreciation there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, where can my people follow you? They want to see any vlogs. They want to follow the life of Dalton. How can they do that?
So I'm on Instagram. It's just Dalton J. Bradley.
Yep.
If you look that up on YouTube, it should pop up. And especially go check out my company. We didn't talk about it at all. I'm the creative director at a company called Horizon Media Group. It's just at Horizon Media Group LLC on Instagram. Also, if you look it up on YouTube, it should pop up. We do some fun stuff there, and it's a cool way to keep track of what we're doing at work.
Yep. And we tag them in almost all the clips we do. We tag you guys over there, and that's great. So give him a follow, subscribe to him on YouTube. I'll hammer him down and get us some more content, some more behind the scenes, because I know you guys enjoy that stuff.
And if this gets 30 likes, I will mic myself up for the rest of the episodes.
For the rest of the episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's done. 30 likes on the episode?
30 likes, and I'll do it. I'll shake on it right now.
Shake on it.
Yeah.
It's mic'd up from now on.
There
You guys
it
are
is.
going to be hearing Dalton's voice. Appreciate you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Peace out.